Hello everyone, Oksana here, and I'm here with my sister Viktoriya. Thank you so much for joining today's class. We are going to get started in just a minute, and we want to make sure that everything is good on that side. So let me know that you can hear me well as that you can see the screen. So type yes in the comments or in the chat box, okay? So let us know that you can hear me well and that you can see my screen. As well as let me know where you're from. Let us know what we can help you with. What inspired you to register for this class? What is that we can help you with, where you're from? And make sure that you close all of your browsers except this one. Put your phone on silence and be in the quiet room. We put a lot of time and effort into this presentation, and our whole focus for you is to have a tremendous amount of value and clarity. Okay, so because we value your time and appreciate you being here, let's get started and see who is this class for. You're in the right place if you're struggling with any of these autoimmune or inflammatory conditions, from gut issues to lupus, Hashimoto's, and scleroderma. Fibromyalgia, scleroderma, various other conditions. And this is for people who need personalized help to make sure that they're doing everything right every single day that is supporting their recovery. So this is for someone who needs that personalized help. And this class is for you if your autoimmune disease affected your life, your work, your relationships, or your business. So maybe you're a business owner who has been diagnosed with autoimmunity and you want to recover from this as fast, as rapidly as you can. And so this class is for you if your autoimmune disease is costing you time, which is the most valuable resource. And everyone knows that time is something we can never get back, but we can always earn more money when you're healthy. Isn't that so? This is also for you if you have already tried a natural way healing from autoimmunity and you tried dietary changes or supplements, but it didn't get you to the recovery that you want. So this is a very important thing to understand, that even with unlimited wealth and resources, even when it seems like you've tried everything, if you don't have the right information, you can still have an autoimmune disease. This is for you if you want to be able to recover without supplements and avoid dangerous side effects of medications. However, this is not for everyone. This is not for everyone. If you feel like you really feel like you know it all, or maybe if you want to continue doing research and listening to nutritional advice from your medical doctor who has never reversed autoimmune disease with diet before, or if you want to listen to your favorite health guru who also never reversed autoimmune disease with diet before, then this class is not for you. So if you just want to continue doing research and argue what's right or wrong, then we're not going to get very far. So let's get started. What would your life look like if you no longer suffered from chronic pain, brain fog, chronic fatigue, and that you can finally enjoy time with your family again? What would your life look like if you found an expert who was genuinely interested in helping you recover, not just give you pills or more supplements that have not been working for you? What would your life look like if you no longer suffered with symptoms of autoimmune disease and you can finally have normal labs and be able to get off your medications? So the great news is that in the next 30 minutes, we are going to talk about a revolutionary way of recovering from autoimmunity. And if you stay until the end of the class, we are going to give you an opportunity to speak with us one-on-one. So at this point, you might be wondering, why should I listen to you and how do I know that you're giving me the right information? So we've been where you are. We went from sick and tired to healthy and thriving using this rarely talked about process that stops autoimmune disease dead in its tracks. And we also spent 300,000 US dollars and 10 years of our life to figure this out. So some of the issues we struggle with: hair loss, hormonal issues, chronic migraines, and these are some of the pictures before and after, so you have an idea where we came from. In addition, why else should you listen to us? So we're not just some people who were sick ourselves. We're immunology scientists and experts in reversing chronic diseases using nutrition. We have 10 years of experience working in the field of immunology, and also we are peer-reviewed published scientists. So our expertise in the field helped us understand cellular nutrition and what specific nutrients our cells need to reverse chronic inflammation. In this presentation, we are going to teach you how the medical establishment works right now. So this is the old or the current way treating autoimmunity. And then we're also going to talk about the new revolutionary way treating autoimmune diseases. So the old way of treating autoimmune disease is medications. So doctors are pushing drugs because they're not trained in nutrition for disease reversal. They either don't know another alternative or they don't have the experience healing people using only nutrition besides just tell them just to eat healthy. If they don't know it, how can they teach it to you? So they're the victim of the system. We see medicine as a tool. Medication can save your life, but it cannot give you health. So taking medicine is like putting a bandage on a wound, but it's not addressing the root of your problem. So when you only treat the symptom, which is what medication does, it covers it up rather than healing it. And that's why it reappears. So for you to actually heal and recover from autoimmunity, we have to heal it where it begins at the root of the source. Does this make sense? And realize that medicine tries to make your body not feel what it is feeling. And if you're in pain and you take medicine, you don't feel as much pain. But do you still have the thing that causes the pain? 100% yes. So what made us realize is what doctors do is that they manage symptoms and they do everything they can to force the body to stay alive so you can feel better. But rarely do they reverse what is happening and they never address what is causing your symptoms to stay. Yeah. So if you have an autoimmune disease, you will be told that you must be on medications for the rest of your life because medicine guarantees that you will never fully recover and you'll just manage the symptoms and learn to tolerate them. So when we first met Nicole, she suffered with chronic pain and various autoimmune symptoms. Some of her symptoms were bloating, joint pain, inflammation, numbness. And how medical establishment works right now is that she was treating her symptoms with medications and surgeries and even had her gallbladder removed because they misdiagnosed her. So she spent 20,000 US dollars into surgeries and medications over the course of 3 years. So the option right now is treating the symptoms with medications or surgeries, and it costs you between $5,000 to $20,000 every single year.
Going to functional doctors. I was going to like specialists, like chiropractors, just like anything and everything under the sun. I was doing holistic medicine. I had surgeries, supplements. I spent like tons and tons of money, over like $20,000, really just not having anything to show for it. And I had surgeries that kind of left my body like traumatized, and I just had scar tissues and like things like that that I have to heal. So all of that said, it was just, I felt like I knew what I was doing. I know I needed to heal. I just didn't know how to heal. I was eating healthy, which I thought was healthy, but it really wasn't. It wasn't like healing. I really want it to be that somebody can hold my hand and tell me what to do. And then I found you girls and I was like, oh my gosh, like they were sent from the heavens above. Like,
so that's why you can go through the traditional route or the old current way of recovering, or you can go through the new revolutionary way, which we will share with you in just a minute. And so the old current way is that you go to the doctor or functional medicine doctor to treat the symptom. And you run different lab tests or allergy tests. You take medication or supplements or do an elimination diet, and it can cost between $5,000 to $20,000 while seeing your disease progress. And what changed that helped Nicole reverse her autoimmune disease, not just her symptoms, but also her inflammation markers, was getting to the root of her symptoms instead of treating her symptoms with medicine and having a personalized approach to her recovery. So the revolutionary process for treating autoimmunity is different approach to managing these diseases, whereas the conventional medicine is all about suppression of symptoms rather than removing the underlying mechanisms by which they're caused and giving your body the tools and nutrients that it needs to repair itself. while guiding you through the recovery process to ensure your success in the comfort of your own home. So the way that it works is you have an online meeting with your autoimmune expert. They customize your recovery process based on your condition and a proven process. And then you get daily feedback and support to make necessary adjustments when needed, as well as educate you how to continue recovering versus what you have to do to maintain your health or your results. And now with this process, you are set up to successfully reverse your autoimmunity. So this is a modern way of getting the help that you need to ensure your recovery. All of our clients have already been going to functional medicine doctors or autoimmune specialists and didn't get better because their doctor was not there with them daily to isolate what was still causing their symptoms to stay or tell them how to recover from this fully without the medications or the supplements. So what changed for Nicole is that we applied the recovery process, which we took her current diet and we showed her how to make step-by-step improvements to optimize her healing. So we helped her identify which essential foods she was missing and how to convert her current diet into one that is made specifically for her autoimmune recovery. And then we guided her every single day and made necessary adjustments based on her body's response. And by day 10, she said, I woke up in much better shape today, no anxiety, alert, and rested. By day 23, she no longer had intestinal pain, and by day 30, her joint pain was pretty much non existent. So, what doctor will offer you this kind of level of support? They see you for 15 minutes and you're on your way, and you don't talk to them until something bad happens again. After having positive antibodies, ANA, for years, Nicole's ANA came back negative in only 8 weeks. So her autoimmune disease symptoms were reversed and her inflammation markers were going down. Make sense? So we are taught that most serious diseases don't ever go away. All we can do is use medications or surgeries to treat the symptoms. It turns out that it's only true when we stick to medications for treatment rather than lifestyle changes to treat the actual cause of the disease and give the body what it needs to repair itself. So no matter what the cause of your autoimmune disease, when you give your body all that it needs, it will repair the damage and get back to optimum health. Does this make sense? So let's look at another real life example. So Doris was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis and she was put on medications. She went into remission for a couple of years because of her medication, and then her illness came back with vengeance, which is very common. So she also lost 25 pounds due to her illness and had 12 to 15 bloody bowel movements per day. She went to see nutritionists and functional medicine doctors, and they told her typical things: eliminate dairy, eliminate sugar, processed foods. And there's so many different things anyone can eat on any diet, but it does not mean that everything she was eating was supporting her recovery. Not eating inflammatory foods such as processed foods or gluten may slow down the progression of the disease, but ultimately it is not enough for most people to reverse or avoid autoimmune disease. So we have had many clients who either did not get results using the current medical establishment or plateaued and stopped getting better after they've changed their diet or lifestyle. So the health of your gut really depends mostly on what you put into. And what we did was designed a recovery program based on her current health of her digestive system. And then after applying this process and making daily adjustments on day 15, Doris reported that for the first 3 4 days, I have had completely normal bowel movements. And I mean normal, like I was a kid. So this is what happened after she applied the new way. So the new way is all about us looking over your shoulder every single day and telling you how to fix something and correct the mistakes that you're making based on the daily data that we see with you. And this is a revolutionary way. This is what Doris wrote in our client Facebook group. So after only 14 days, she got off all her medications and felt like a new person. She had energy, she was exercising, and enjoyed her life more.
It was terrible. I couldn't keep anything down. Every time I ate anything, I would get a fever. It would shoot up, and then I would be in bed. I was on short-term disability for a month. I just knew that there's something out there. I don't know what it is, and my doctor doesn't know what it is. There's a plan out there that I can get this under control and get off of this medication and be healed. I didn't know what the nutrients were, and that was what I was on a search for to find. Just finding out what I needed to be eating to make it go away and to get fully healed. And I stumbled onto you all, which I'm so thankful for. You both just gave me so much information and encouragement also. So after 2 weeks on the protocol, I was completely off my medication, gave me control of my life back. You can't put a price on that.
So that's why we don't want to just pretend, just take medicine and pretend like it's not happening. Recovering from a chronic disease is not just about information, it's about having the right education and having someone walk you through the proven process of disease reversal that is customized specifically to you. So you have to understand what makes this process different is that it's not just a meal plan. Others just give you a prescribed program and don't know whether or not it will work for you. And the new revolutionary way treating autoimmunity is that we show you what's normal to feel and what's not normal to feel while you're healing and what adjustments you need to make to get the best outcome for yourself. So the new way of treating the disease is having a custom approach. It's about having the right information, addressing the root of your problem, and having someone guide you through your recovery. And the truth is that if your doctor tells you that you cannot reverse your chronic illness or your autoimmune disease, it just means he or she has never done it. So it's a very different approach to managing these inflammatory diseases, whereas the conventional medicine is all about suppression of symptoms rather than removing the underlying mechanisms by which they're caused. So again, this summarizes how the new revolutionary process works. Following the current medical establishment, medicine drove 7 hours to see her scleroderma specialist over the course of 4 years while seeing her disease progress. So she was again following the old current way treating autoimmune disease, going to see a specialist, and she mentioned that having someone guide me on what to do and not to do would be a huge help to me. And just in 4 years since her diagnosis, she developed joint pain, positive antibodies, had to get surgery because of her tendon rupts, Raynaud's disease, where circulation gets cut off, and oftentimes patients with scleroderma often get their fingers cut off. It's really terrible. So that's what she was diagnosed with, and she saw her disease progress. And she also spent over $6,000 on a year on appointments, tests, supplements over the course of 4 years, and it basically cost her $24 while seeing her disease progress, like I mentioned. So in 6 weeks, since applying a new revolutionary process for autoimmune recovery, she no longer had tendon rupts, she no longer had constipation, no more fatigue, no more symptoms, no more numbness, no more dryness, and no more Raynaud's. And this is the picture she sent us, this picture of her arm. She could actually see veins on her arms for the first time. Before, her skin was so thick that she couldn't see veins.
I have seen great results. I have no tendon rubs, which I have not had 0 tendon rubs in 4 years. So that's like amazing. I don't have any in my ankles, none in my wrists. My skin is so much softer. My hands are probably where my skin is the most tight and thick. And just recently I really noticed that I can like start seeing the veins in my hands again, which I never could because it was so thick. And then like another thing is when I wake up in the mornings, my fingers and hands are not as swollen as they were. Like used to, my rings would get really, really tight over like the night. And now when I wake up, like they're just normal, which is awesome. And then as far as like constipation, that has completely gone away. Like I was going, before the program, I was going 4 to 5 days without using the bathroom. And I was having to take, supplements and things that would help me. And it was really frustrating because then I was full and bloated and it was just like a ripple effect. And so now I am regular, like I go every day and I don't get that full and I'm not bloated. So like all of that's improved as well, which is awesome. The amount of progress I've made in 6 weeks is more than I had ever, like I had never made progress in 4 years. I just kept getting worse slowly. So it's worth it.
Yeah, and that's why what's the difference between using steroids for autoimmune recovery versus using food to help you recover. And the medication can suppress your immune system, which can be life-saving when you are severely ill from autoimmunity, but also leaves you susceptible to infections. So what steroids do is that they suppress the whole immune system, the anti-inflammatory immune system, and the inflammatory immune system. And this is not what you want to do long-term because there are side effects with that. So what you want to do is you want to use nutrition to suppress the inflammatory immune response and strengthen the anti-inflammatory immune response. So you want to suppress the part that goes haywire. What medicine does is that it suppresses the entire immune system, treating the symptom, the surface problem, while causing other side effects. So while on steroids for his rheumatoid arthritis, our client Rudy got a flesh-eating bacteria. His wound wouldn't heal because steroids, like we mentioned, were suppressing the entire immune system, including the one that fights infections. So imagine him already suffering with rheumatoid arthritis and diabetes, and now his doctors are even talking about cutting off his body parts. We worked with Woody to help him optimize his anti-inflammatory immune system with nutrition so his body can heal, not just from RA, but also the infection. And by week 2, his wound finally started healing. By week 5, he no longer needed insulin. And by week 12, he was off all of his RA steroids because he no longer had the joint pain. And this is a message that his son, Christopher, left on a Facebook page. And he said, my dad did this plan and got off all of his RA and diabetes medications. He talked about us, that we are so passionate about what we do because we were in the shoes as well. And it's really exciting to see our clients recovering. And Rudy's doctors insisted that there was no way he could ever get better, and it was only going to get worse. And he knew that he did not want to be on so many medications for the rest of his life that were causing him severe side effects.
I am going to fire my rheumatologist because he's not very receptive to diet. And in fact, he's told me quite emphatically that, there's nothing we can do with diet to improve the RA. And he really wants to take his script pad and write me more medication. And some of these drugs are quite dangerous, and some even the biologics. So I am going to stick with my program, but he would not even order some new lab work to see where some of my RA markers are. So I do need to go somewhere else where they're a little bit more conducive to helping me measure where my body's at.
Rudy, I'm so proud of you. When you were telling me about your wound, I started crying. I started tearing up.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's been a journey. It's been a journey, but it was sort of a godsend because I'd have smacked into a wall and probably died if I hadn't taken this little side road, the sabbatical of not walking and looking for different things to try, like your program, to get me back on a different path from where I was headed. Because I was getting some very bad instruction sets from my doctors and essentially well-doers, but they just don't have the knowledge. They just don't have the background to be able to heal people. They can mask the symptoms and make me feel okay, and that's what I was doing. I was getting by every day, but not really getting any better. The diabetes is well under control. In fact, I've had several discussions with the endocrinologist. They cut the medication in half. I was only taking 1/4 of what I was taking before, but right now I'm not taking any diabetic medication because I really can't afford to take it. It's the A1C I had mentioned to you had been dropping, and they were quite delighted with that. That was the first cut on the meds.
I'm so happy for you that now your diabetes is under control. Only within 5-6 weeks, then you no longer need that medication. That's excellent.
It's hard to believe, but that's what's happened. Well, I am a believer.
Yeah, and that's why it's important to be a believer that you can recover. And his doctor just said it's not possible because they never done it. So that's, if your doctor tells you that you cannot reverse your autoimmune disease, it just means they don't have the experience or the knowledge or the expertise to be able to do it, not just with medication. So what we do is we shut off the inflammatory part, not necessarily with medicine, but we do it with food. So we stop feeding it and you can recover. So it's a very different approach to managing these inflammatory diseases, whereas the conventional medicine is all about the suppression of symptoms rather than removing the underlying mechanisms by which they are caused and guiding you through that recovery process. And that's why this revolutionary process works so well, is because it's not just a meal plan, it's about walking you through the process, making necessary adjustments, and providing you all the help and support that you need to ensure your recovery. And the next thing we want to mention that there are many theories out there about nutrition for disease reversal, which can be very confusing for people. So when you're trying to evaluate the effectiveness of a recovery plan that you might be currently following, the most important thing to look for is the results. Now, the only things that we teach our private clients are results. We never tell them something we have never tested, because theories are often wrong, even when created by intelligent people like doctors who are right about many other things, but not when it comes to nutrition. So people often tell me that they still sick with autoimmune disease despite changing their diet or eliminating processed foods and doing many things. And most of our clients recover in 4 to 6 weeks. And that's why this new process is revolutionary, because recovering from autoimmunity, it can take people 2 years or never if they don't do anything right. But if you're doing everything right, it can be rapid like that. So it's about having the right information, guidance, and someone to make adjustments to you to accelerate your healing, or help you isolate anything that's still causing you not to get better. And this is some of our clients. This client recovered from Hashimoto's and Crohn's before even 40 days were up. She no longer had any symptoms. And then we also worked with people who had skin lupus, alopecia. So we worked with a lot of different people with chronic diseases that they were sick with for years. So we use the term disease reversal because it's completely accurate. The disease started, became chronic, and now has been reversed. But don't just take our word for it.
The internet tells you there's no cure. The doctor says there's no cure for my disease. But I'm grateful you guys. Otherwise, I don't know what I'd be doing.
This is the best decision I've ever made for my health and for my life. What you're doing is saving lives.
The program did help me so much, knowing what to do and how to do it.
I had faith in the program. All my lab numbers are awesome now. All my inflammation numbers are exactly where they need to be.
The diabetes is well under control. I went from almost losing my life. I'm actually whole. I am a believer.
Your symptoms were gone in how many days?
A week and a half.
I started noticing my joint pain was the next thing to go. I can do this now. I have no pain.
The amount of progress I've made is more than I had in 4 years.
My ANA was positive for a long time. After working with you girls, it's negative again.
So after 2 weeks on the protocol, I was completely off my medication, gave me control of my life back.
I just want to assure whoever's thinking about this, it's definitely worth it.
Not only the symptoms of your autoimmune disease or chronic disease and your lab, all that will reverse. You'll be surprised at how many other wonderful things you'll notice too.
If y'all charge $15,000, I'd find a way to make it work.
So how much does this scalp cost? So instead of spending $24,000 chasing your diagnosis and medications, it can be a fraction of that and save you thousands of dollars in the future, medical bills and doctor's visits. So when you think you're a victim of your bad genetics, you have no power. And when you realize that taking control of your nutrition and other lifestyle factors can optimize or even completely improve your health, it is so empowering. It is a gift. So your current health is a result of all the choices you have made and were made for you up until now. So if you want better health, you need to make new and better choices. It's in your hands. So now that you're aware of this revolutionary new process for reversing autoimmunity from home, the next step is to book a game plan call with us. And so we'll discuss your situation and map out a confidential 90-day recovery program for you. And if we know we can help you, we'll invite you to work with us personally. So go ahead and book the call with us so you can learn more about how we can help you. And this is the link where you can apply. This is where you can book your call. So however, we run a lot of Facebook traffic to this class, so expect the available slots to fill up. And we only have about 10 hours to speak with each person one-on-one for free, right? So, but otherwise, you schedule this call with us. And if you want to learn more and get more support and education, then follow us on Facebook, Viktoriya and Oksana. Feel free to even add us as a friend. We hope that you enjoyed this class and let us know. Send us an email. Let us know how we can